Well, here we go for realsies. What's up, people? We're going to start the stream now. Banjo-Kazooie, Episode 2. Feel it. So, on rewatching the original, I noticed something we missed in the last one that's pretty important. So we're going to go do that right now. That means a brief jaunt back to TTC, then we're going to hit up Clanker's Cavern. I'm hoping to just plow through Clanker's Cavern, Bubble Gloop Swamp, and Freezeezy Peak tonight in one long run. But if I die or fail at some stuff and have to repeat some things, that might not happen, so we'll see. I haven't touched this save file since the first stream, so I may need to get my bearings a little bit and remember what I've done in the castle and stuff. We shall see. Fortunately, I've replayed the game enough times that I should be able to pick it up and run with it no matter what, and it's not... I'm early enough in the game that the castle has only a couple of states it can really be in, because I'm sort of stuck in the first area till I get enough notes from Clanker's Cavern to get into the rest of it, so... Yeah, but what I missed the honeycomb sections. And those are vital, because I need more health. Especially as we get into the later, harder levels. But that's okay, I know right where they are, we'll just run straight to them. They're really well hidden in this level, one of them not so much. But the other one, jeez, man, I don't know how 10-year-old me would have ever found it. So this one is pretty tricky, because you gotta, like... I guess you're supposed to kind of be able to see it as you're running by over here or something, but it's just in this wall, and... What the hell? And then you gotta get it without getting devoured by Snacker.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Fortunately, so, like, Snacker is really, really scary when you're a kid, because he chases you around and bites you a bunch, but...
Scary music.
Yeah, he's got frightening music, but he's slow and he doesn't do, like, a ton of damage, so you can really just tank him and keep rolling. He ain't that bad. Next one we're gonna fly to. Yeah, because this one... I guess they're both pretty well hidden. This one I found as a kid just because, you know, you want to fly around and check everything out. You get the flight power, you want to look around, so... But, oh no, it's over here. It's just out here in the water, but you can kind of see it from up on this platform over here, so it's not terribly well hidden. The other one, though, like, it's just the back of some random wall, you know, in the water that you're not exploring because there's a shark in there. Like, This one is a supreme pain in the ass to get, but only because of the flight controls. Pro tip, if you hold down the R button while you're flying or swimming, it controls just a crap ton better. Here is me sweeping side to side without it pressed down. Here's me sweeping side to side with it pressed down. Yeah. In the sequel, it controls, like, you have the R button held down all the time. In this one, I think they wanted it to be kind of a, you have two sort of gradient options for how fine-tuned you want the controls, but since they never ever mention it anywhere in the whole game, that you can improve your, like, it's not even in the manual. Yeah, I think it was just an oversight.
Yeah, clearly something they added to make testing easier, and then they were like, well, if we don't tell anybody it's there, they won't try it.
Right. So, we got the two honeycombs. Now, there's a section early on... have I unlocked Clanker's Cavern? I bet I have, but we'll find out in a sec. There's a section really early on in Clanker's Cavern where I might have to go quiet for a little bit, because it's extremely difficult. Weirdly, one of the hardest challenges in the whole game. And no, I haven't unlocked it yet. No. That's okay. It's right nearby, so... Easy peasy. But yeah, there's a swimming challenge right at the beginning of Clanker's Cavern. So we've had... There's a little swimming practice area right at the beginning of the game in Spiral Mountain, and then, like, one lake in Mumbo's Mountain. And then TTC is full of water, but you don't want to swim anywhere because a shark will eat you. And then beginning of Clanker's Cavern, they're like, well, I hope you've mastered swimming, right? You're a master swimmer now? Because we're about to do it under time pressure and you're gonna fucking die. And what really makes it nuts, you have to collect these air bubbles that are 2D sprites in a 3D plane.
Oh god, what?
Yeah, and it's easy to just feel like you're swimming into them and sidle right by them. And the air counter in this game is ironclad. If you run out of air, you don't, like, start losing health, you just fucking die. So... He's a little old school in that respect. But of course it is. Okay, I better make sure I've unlocked... Since I haven't apparently done anything in the castle here, I better make sure I've got this side area. Because there's a shortcut in here that's really vital. Oh no, see, I missed everything. Okay, so he opens up a shortcut that I will use at the very, very end of the game. And hey, we got a gold feather, which I actually don't... I get the ability to use them next in Clanker's Cavern, but you actually kind of don't. You have a cap of 10 on them, and you get 5 when you get the ability, and they're all over Clanker's Cavern, so you gotta be a little stingy with how many you collect if you don't want to waste any, and they're rare and valuable, so I guess it doesn't really matter. There is a magic spell we can learn that will double our capacity for them, but we get it literally right at the end of the game.
Yeah, right before you have to use it. I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, gold feathers are, you get the ability early on in the game and you're like, these are okay, I guess. It's alright. There's a couple of good uses for them if you screw up. And then when you get to Click Clock Wood, you're burning like 4 every minute. Rusty Bucket Bay and Click Clock Wood really put you through your paces, make you use your whole inventory. I like it, they're good, but we will get to them when we get to them. They are a ways off. I'm gonna run over here. If you enter Clanker's Cavern first, enemies will appear up here, and just makes it a tiny bit of a pain. There's Bruntilda. She is Bruntilda's nice sister, the Good Witch, and she will tell us embarrassing secrets about Bruntilda, which we will need. We're going to go back before we finish the game and do a sweep, because we have to do a quiz show about Gruntilda's life before the final boss, so it's a really unique and interesting idea. It's stupid and a huge pain in the ass and dumb, but it's also like, they only do it once and it's so novel you kinda don't care, right? And it's a great idea in that respect. They don't drag it out. They don't say, do 3 of those at random at the middle of the fucking game after 10 minutes before you've done anything and before you know anything. Ukulele! Yeah, I think after this I'm gonna do one... After I finish Banjo-Kazooie, I'm gonna do 1 session of ukulele. I'm not gonna beat it. I'm just gonna play it.
Just 1. That's all that's required.
That's all we'll need. We'll play 1 session of ukulele and I'll complain the entire time. And then... that'll be enough. Someday we might play Banjo-Tooie on the stream if I can get the capture card and stuff working properly, but... we shall see. I'm not a huge fan of Banjo-Tooie either. It's not bad, it's just a very different kind of game. Rare's design philosophy changed a lot in a few short years. It went from like, there'd be these cool puzzles you would solve with your fire eggs to just a big button with a picture of a fire egg on it that you would shoot with fire eggs to open a door, and come on. At least try. So this is, I believe, my favorite musical track in the whole game. It's got a really cool, complex melody and a fun bass line. There is a YouTube channel called Otto the Otter 97 that does an excellent guitar cover of it. But the YouTube video of it is only okay. The actual link in the description has higher sound quality, and that's excellent. So these guys, they make a growling noise when you get close, and then if you get too close, they burst out of the wall at you. You're supposed to sneak by them. When I was a kid, I thought they were invulnerable. They're not. You can just rat-a-tat-rat. And if you get good at it, you can just, like, strike through them really, really fast. It's a good skill to learn because the game uses them 4 separate times in 4 separate levels. They really love this enemy type. Each one has, like, a variation on it, right? But they get used in Clanker's Cavern, Click Clock Woods as birds, yeah. They get used in Mad Monster Mansion as the skeleton ones. And they also get used in... no, that might be it, actually. We'll see. Okay, so now we're gonna do the part I don't like very much. Yeah, so I am not the greatest swimmer in Banjo-Kazooie. I'm probably going to screw this up a couple of times in really hilarious ways, but hopefully not such that I die and have to do the whole level again, because this one's kind of bad for that. This is Clanker. I'm skipping all the text. I kind of hope that's okay with people. I don't know, should I not? It's just, it's an old game, and I kind of figure people have played it, but...
Yeah. Well, and like, some of the humor is funny, but it's also all very outdated.
Yeah, and it was aimed at like 9-10-year-old kids in the
Right.
90s, so it's all very rude and extreme, and doesn't play very well anymore.
Extreme!
So we gotta swim down here and release Clanker, and it smartly locks most of the level off till you do this, so that your first-time player isn't gonna do most of the level and then have to do this with all of their notes on the line. But it's still just brutal. Oh, missed a note there. I gotta catch up to Gloop real quick here, because I'm gonna run out of air. Oh. Yeah, here it starts. So... Okay. Now, we gotta keep doing this, because it only gives you 3 air bubbles.
What?
Yeah, it only gives you 3 air
That's
when you...
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it fill you all the way up?
Because fuck you. They want you to follow him, right, and go through this thing. Oh, that's nice. Vintage 90s camera screw.
Thanks, man.
Come on.
Why can't he follow you and just give you air bubbles?
But you see what I'm saying about the 2D sprites on the 3D plane, right?
Yeah.
These are ridiculous. Like, you can't tell when you're hitting them. Okay. Now I got some spare air. I need to run around and pick some crap up. And then when you get down to about 3 air levels, you need 3, more like 4, to get to the surface in one piece. You can kind of make it on 2, but odds of you getting caught under one of Clanker's fins and dying is really good.
Hitboxes on these things are ridiculous.
I would like to submit that in general the hitboxes on the notes in this game are too small. If you look at like Super Mario 64, the hitboxes on the coins are gigantic for a reason. And on this one, it's kind of intentional because they want you to have to, like when you're running as Kazooie, your hitbox is smaller, so it makes you sort of, you have to be more skilled to pick up all the stuff while you're in Talon Trot, but it's not worth it, and yeah. Come on. Come on!
No, you wanna.
Okay, that should be everything. If we get to the end of this and I'm missing 1 note and it's down here, that'll be the most fun. Okay, 3 air. I think I can make it. Especially since the key pushed me up there. Your air does not deplete during this cutscene. That's sporting of them. Alright. We're gonna shoot for the surface real quick. Nice little camera change there, just to fuck you when you're desperate, trying to move fast. You totally can get stuck up under Clanker, and it's like death. Alright, we made it. That's the hardest part of the level. The rest of this should be pretty much a cakewalk. It's not a hard level, it's just that one part's really difficult. Which gets me on to, I really wanted to talk about the game's difficulty curve. Because it's very good and very interesting the way they do things. Because they don't just do a linear progression where each level is harder than the one that came before it. They do these like clumps of 3. There are 9 regular stages, and they sort of go in this oscillating wave, where the first level of each one is really easy, and then the second one is harder, and then the third one's the hardest of that section. So, like levels 1, 2, and 3 here, your Mumbo's Mountain is really easy. You can hardly die on it, right, unless you're just starting the game out. TTC is harder, it's bigger, there's more danger, there's more, stuff to find. Clanker's Cavern here has that section with Gloop at the beginning, more lethal enemies, and is just all around a harder level than either of those two. But then we're going to go to Bubble Gloop Swamp next, and that's going to be easier than Clanker's Cavern. Nothing remotely like that Gloop deal. It does have the hardest stupid minigame in the game, but that's later. Oh.
Just because the minigame itself, not necessarily because of
Right.
any challenge in the level.
And it doesn't kill you if you fail, right? You just take some damage and come back later. But you do that, and then you go to, there's like Freeze Easy Peak is the next in that one, and that's hard, right, compared to the other two, and then Gobi's Valley, and then Mad Monster Mansion tones it down again, so it's really not just harder, 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 harder. There's a progression to it, right? No, you're you're my dad. Don't you tell me what to do. No, I'm really just giddy that I completed that without dying in one go. That's like a 50-50 for me. Sometimes I get screwed by glue, but it's stupid. Like his camera over again. So yeah. I do a little bit of a pattern here. I'm gonna clean up around the walls, and then I'll go inside Clanker, and then we're gonna do the underwater shit last, because I don't like it. It's not a good idea, because the underwater shit's the most likely to kill you, but I am confident in my ability to not let that happen with the other stuff that is not glue. Because I've done the swimming levels later in the game that are much harder, so... Okay, right. We don't want to go too hard after gold feathers yet. Might as well hit this while we're here. We gotta knock out his gold tooth. He says it's because he has a toothache, but I'm pretty sure he's just hard up for cash.
You're right. It's just so quick to...
Right. He needs some smack. It's the standard edgy joke, right? Bright, colorful kids game, but drugs.
Drugs and boobs.
Boobs! Now you're imagining Clanker with boobs. Big, rusty, metallic boobs with gold nipples. And they shoot steam out of the pores. Yeah, Clanker is supposed to be the garbage grinder. So this is like a big garbage disposal, right? I'm in here already. Whatever. I can't forget to do that exterior wall before we leave. It'll be fine. You can kill these guys faster by just beak bombing onto them, but they move, so it's easier to stun them for beak. There are 3 moves with the word beak in them. There's like the beak buster, the beak barge, and the beak bomb, and I get them mixed up all the time. And then there's the rat-a-tat rap, which is also a move with the beak, but not called a beak thing, so it doesn't have the word beak in the name. But it's just as easy to mistake for one of the others, because, right, like... Oh, this thing... This is one of those things that I practiced a couple of times, and now I'm just praying it doesn't fuck me over on stream, because it went pretty well in practice, but...
Right. You never know.
It's not very... It looks kind of shitty, right? It looks like the kind of thing you dread. Oh boy, jump through hoops!
Right, like the swimming section in Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask, where you're the Zora and you have to fucking chase around that fucking beaver with the fucking rings, and it gives you a fucking bottle at the end, so you have to do it because you need bottles.
Well, that went pretty much perfectly. This is something that... So, this is the only time this happens in Banjo-Kazooie, where they're just like, yeah, swim through some fucking circles, right? It's the only time you have to do it, and it's not hard. Your first time through the game, you'll fail it a couple of times, you'll figure out what they want you to do, and you'll pull it off, and it's not obscene, right? It's hard to ensure you'll do perfectly every time, but it's not nail-biting. You're not going to be stuck on it for days or whatever. Yooka-Laylee decided that it was a major theme of the game, and there's like 24 challenges for pages in Yooka-Laylee where you have to go through rings in the air, in the water, on the ground.
On a line card.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry, having a little PTSD flashback to the minecart segments in Yooka-Laylee right now. I don't have a high opinion of that game. It is bad. Yeah, not really.
More on that later.
More on that. How could you? I don't know how you look at it and you're like, yeah, this is done. It got like another 2.5 years of updates, and I still don't think it's fucking done.
It got fixed, stuff got patched, it's still a pile of garbage.
It's so bad. Oh.
JonTron dodged a bullet. Honestly.
You did. And you got to be in a hat in time, which is way better. I thought it was a good idea to have a collectathon and then not make you collect anything. Like, all of your stuff runs off an energy meter instead of bullets or whatever, so you can't like, oh cool, I'm collecting fire bullets for my fire. It's like, no. You don't collect things, what the hell? You try to run into these terrible butterflies with tiny-ass hitboxes that move completely randomly and sometimes fly up too high for you to reach. That's a great fucking mechanic. Sorry, this shouldn't be so bitter. I love this game. We're playing this game. Let's just enjoy what we have. I never ever found that Banjo as a kid. I found that watching a speedrun later in life, and I was like, what the hell? Who would even think to do that? Likewise with this honeycomb piece. And I actually think that's a minor problem with the game in terms of,
Some things are just hitting too well. And it's like up against a wall, so your camera is constantly screwing you.
Yeah. This one looks like bullshit, but you can actually catch a glimpse of it when you're coming out of a different pipe, so it's not entirely dumb. But hey, we got another honeycomb piece! Hooray! Alright, that should be the wall, and the inside of... Oh, no. We missed something on the inside of Clanker. I forgot. Yeah, I feel specifically like things you can break in this game are a little too... It's unclear what you can and can't break with your moves. And so it results in you just sort of, anytime anything looks like a door or a window, just trying to smack your face into it. And if you don't do that, if you forget to do it or whatever... Okay, that's the witchy switch.
Like Ocarina of Time, like, is that a crack in the wall that I can bomb, or is it not? Better use a bomb anyway.
Yeah, exactly, right. Well, and nothing in the game really... There's a tutorial early on where they teach you can break boulders, but other than that, they don't, like, tell you to be ramming into doors or whatever, so it's very possible to just get through this game and be like, I'm at 9 jiggies on a couple of levels, and I got no fucking idea why. Okay, so now we're gonna... Anyway, here's Wonder Wing. This is a new move Bottles gives us. It allows us to use golden feathers to turn invincible for a short time. It's extremely useful for hallways like this one, if you're a pleb.
Oh!
Damn it. Oh, but not bad anyway.
So, during practice, you did that perfectly without getting hit. You was like, oh, hopefully I can pull that off on screen.
Yeah.
Did not happen.
But what's happening here is that I am a frame-perfect master of human reflexes. I meditated under a waterfall for several years, perfecting my martial arts, and that allowed me to do that.
Okay.
I'm kidding. If you walk along that seam, you don't take any hits. Anybody can do it. I learned that watching Stivity Bobo, so... If you don't know who that is, he's the human Tass, and the greatest Banjo-Kazooie speedrunner of all time.
He is the one that has meditated under a waterfall to perfect his... Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, if you want to see somebody absolutely ruin this game in about 2 hours, 100%, go watch Stivity Bobo's stream. But don't, stay here, watch this stream. Stivity Bobo is a jerk and totally slept with some dude's wife at GDQ, so...
You can't judge the art.
Because the artist is a bad person.
Because the artist.
I suppose that is usually my thing.
If you're gonna do that, then you have no hope.
Oh God.
No hope whatsoever.
Don't. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's a good point. So this is kind of a tricky swimming challenge when you first start the game, because you gotta swim out backwards. Once you're used to the swimming controls, this is no big deal, but if you're kind of screwing around running into walls and stuff, this can totally kill you because it's so long. And you come out of the pipe facing the camera, so...
You know, as you want to do, right? It's like every Sonic game ever, every 3D Sonic game ever. Yes, run towards the camera. Run to your death.
I think the only game I have ever enjoyed that like a section where you're running towards the camera are the old Crash Bandicoot games, where you would run. There were those ones where you'd be like getting chased by a boulder or something, and those were usually pretty intelligently built so that you could see what was coming, even if there were a couple of bullshit gotcha, you know. Oh, what the hell? There we go. At least they were at plenty of health. Damn. Yeah, so these are the mutants. They're not as hard as I'm making them look. They are basically just regular-ass crabs, but there's a room with 4 of them. We're almost done with Clanker's Cavern, actually. That's good, we're making excellent time, so... we can get into Bubble Gloop Swamp. We're actually about to get to the part of the game where we have to worry about backtracking. That hasn't been a concern up till now, but... Bubble Goop Swamp, Freezeezy Peak, and Gobi's Valley each have an ability that is necessary to complete the other 2. Which means you can complete them in any order, but you need to finish all 3 and then go back and finish the other 2, right? Yeah, I don't mind it too much just because it's only 1 Jiggy in each world that you need the right thing for, but...
it's not like, collect another 100 notes and...
Right. Yeah. It's pretty manageable, but it is... nothing, like, indicates that that's what you need to do. So it's possible you're, like, just in Gobi's Valley, and you don't have the beak bomb to hit the target on top of the thing while you're flying, and you're just sitting there trying to hit it with eggs from a distance, or right, and you're like, what the fuck do I have to do? But these games were really... I'm finishing everything in 1 run here, but that's not really how you're supposed to do it, you know what I mean? Like, it's a big Metroidvania kind of game. You're supposed to wander around, half-complete levels, get lost, and eventually be like, you know what? Fuck it, today I'm feeling good, I'm going for the notes, you know. Oh.
Swim off into the void?
No, the camera got stuck in this pipe. There we go. I got it out. So... I know we all miss games from the good old days, but we do have to be frank about the fact that they faced some stark limitations. Well, and that's... I guess something I've wanted to talk about is kind of the... why don't they make classics like this anymore, right? And the answer is that in order to make classics like this, you have to cut a bunch of corners people wouldn't put up with anymore. There are a bunch of models that get reused, and there's a bunch of, gameplay elements that are only there to extend playtime because that was the only way to make a game last 20+ hours back then. And... also, they do totally make classics like this.
Working with limited hardware kind of made the art what it is.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, well, we have unlimited graphical capabilities, unlimited storage space for random bits and bobs that you might pick up, and we can just do whatever we want. Well, what do we want to do? I don't fucking know.
Right? Yeah, you used to have, like, they had to pick the coloration for characters based on how many limited polygons they had available and still needed to make things look distinct. And you got a lot of your iconic designs because they were working under such tight deadlines and hard limits, and I agree. I actually think the industry went through this doldrums from like 2004 to 2014, roughly, where it's not like no good games came out, but just for the longest time, innovation in games had been driven by technological limits that didn't exist anymore, and they spun their wheels for a while, like, we have a really pretty shooter. Pretty much every year until right now. And I don't know, it's not even... To me, it was a doldrums. I'm sure to fans of first-person shooters, it was a fucking golden age, so... there shouldn't be too...
Sweet, the next COD is out!
Yes. Oh my...
In perpetuity for the rest of their lives.
I really like the original Medal of Honor and stuff, right? Like, those games actually were really good. I just feel like they got stale over time. But, like, man, the original Modern Warfare was fucking mind-blowing. There's a reason people copied it forever. Okay, so we hit a witch switch in Clanker's Cavern that opened up a Jiggy in the palace that's right next to us, so we're gonna go get that. I really like the way the levels and castle interact with each other. It really helps sell it as more of a connected space. In Super Mario 64, you have secrets in the palace and secrets in the levels, but never the twain shall meet, right? You step through the portraits and it's like you're in an alternate dimension. And this was a neat, quick, dirty way to just give you the feeling of interconnectedness without having to do a whole bunch of stuff the N64 couldn't handle, so... Alright, so we're off to Bubble Gloop Swamp, which, as I alluded to earlier, is way easier than Clanker's Cavern. So, now we unlock the next sort of area of the castle, and I'm just gonna make a straight shot for the next level, because, you know... Oh, good, I remembered. There's a thing I have to do as Banjo and Kazooie before I enter this level here. I did open it, right? Yeah, I did. Earlier in the stream. So in here, we've got a pair of waiter boots that we can't wear yet. Those let us walk through this swamp without taking damage. This guy's a dick. He's probably going to do a couple of damage to us later on, and I'll show you why. In here is another Brentilda. She refills our health. She'll also do the thing. So, there's a thing I gotta go do here, and it's gonna require some advanced tech, which is to say I'm gonna damage boost a whole bunch. So please note that all of the following damage is intentional. I may die, that will be unintentional. I'm gonna get a good running start. You can kind of avoid damage by staying up on these walls for a sec, right? But you can't do it indefinitely. In older versions of the cartridge, there's a slope glitch sort of thing you can do, but I'm not good enough to do it consistently. This is where the Portrait for Freeze Easy Peek is. That's our next level after Bubble Gloop. And maybe the best ice level in any video game, but that's a super fucking low bar. Right. So
they all suck.
I don't know why. To this day, devs insist on putting fucking snow levels and everything. And this is the actual reason we're here. There's this thing, there's a passage that we are too big to fit through, but that's a big ice block that we can only break as Banjo and Kazooie, so we have to break it now, come back through here. Up here are the waiting boots we can't use to get back without taking damage, so this is the part where we might die if I get really bad luck on my slopes here. But that's okay, we don't lose anything if we die, so one of our totally useless extra lives. Come on! Oh, we made it! Okay. And then there's free health here, and then right at the beginning of Bubble Gloop Swamp, which I will not need, so we'll be up at full. Yay! We did it! Damage boost successful. Well, knock on wood, but all the stuff I wanted to go right in one shot has been going right in one shot, so... Here's these guys. They kind of dictate our route through the level, because we feed one, and then another one pops up, and then we gotta feed him, and then another one pops up. So they make it natural to just kind of route the level for you. And I think is a sly way by the devs to introduce the concept of routing to some players. Here's our next move, the only one we get in the swamp. This just allows us to wear the waiting boots. Very simple. Get a full heal off of bottles there. And we are on to the actual swamp. So this is Bubble Gloop Swamp. It's... I don't know, my least favorite level in the game, but it's not horrific. I don't, like, loathe it, it's just kind of boring. Not a lot to it. It does have this fixation with making you walk really narrow platforms under time pressure, which I don't like. And it also has Mr. Vile, which is why it's my least favorite level in the game. Mr. Vile is the requisite collect-a-thon minigame that makes you want to tear your fucking hair out, so... Oh, come on. And he is very inconsistent for me. I'm not very good at fighting him, so... When we get to him, which will be in a later episode, because I'm going to need to complete Gobi's Valley first, we're going to see how that goes. Alright, so the trick to this deal is that people feel like they gotta race like fucking crazy to make it, but you really don't. You can take your time, stop, adjust the camera. Because you actually have 45 seconds, which is a very, very long time to navigate all of these platforms. And if the timer runs out, all that happens is that the Jiggy disappears, so It's fine. See, I had 19 seconds left, and I took it real slow at the end. Alright. This is... manually adjusting the camera like I'm doing here is something that old 3D games really expect you to do a lot. That I think is something that modern gamers don't expect to do, because modern cameras just do it for you much better. And that's definitely an improvement. I'm not saying they should go back to it, but I think when modern gamers try to go back and play these things and get really, really frustrated, that's one of the biggest reasons why. They're not adjusting the camera themselves, they don't realize that they should be, and then they get... the screwy jumps get even worse. You know? Okay. So that was... I never pay attention to where that thing spawns, and I should, because it's the next place I gotta go. I think it was the terrace village. Yeah, that's it. Okay, headphone warning. This is gonna get really loud and obnoxious, because I'm gonna be playing two music tracks over each other at the same time. The easiest way to kill these guys is just to gold feather up on them. Okay, there we go. Go. There are a couple of places, I think almost like one per world, actually, where gold feathers are, like, not necessary, but will just save you a huge headache. My absolute favorite use of gold feathers in the whole game is to just jump off of a high thing without taking any damage. Because there are, like, starting in Freeze Easy Peak, there are falls that'll kill you in one shot, so... It's also really, really nice for, like, when you finish climbing the tree in a season of Click Clockwood, you can use it to get to the bottom immediately, but... You know, you need gold feathers and Click Clockwood for plenty of other shit, so... Oh, that, I hit the witch switch, and it blew up the hat on that statue out in the castle. And then we can fall through it in order to get a jigsaw that is located in the statue, the big witch statue. The trick there is that you can see that, and there's like a grate in the statue where you can see the jiggy through, but it doesn't show you how to get into it. So, it's a little bit of a puzzle, which I enjoy. Let's see if I can get...
You're not paying attention and destroying all the shit.
You're kind of fucked, I don't know. No, it's really... the thing you have to do to get up there is really obvious, and most people are going to try it just for kicks anyway, and then kind of put it together, so it's not... yeah. It's like a big hole you jump in, and you fall, and if you haven't hit that witch switch, you'll land on the hat and kind of slide down the side of it. So later you'll hit the witch switch, see the hat glow, and be like, oh, if you've already gone down the hole. And if not, then, you know, you'll just jump in the hole later and be like, oh, cool, a jiggy. Oh, right. Okay, so I want to go... This is the part that gets tricky for me routing, because I need to go hit this crocodile guy over here, and then run back to another spot on the stage, because I want to do this part last. Just because... So... that small space, we're gonna do an animal transformation in this one, which we have not done in a while. I think not since the first level, actually. And we are going to need to use the animal transformation from this one to get a secret out in the castle, which means we need to take it out of the stage. And transforming in this one is a pain in the ass, so the less we gotta do that, the better. Right? I'm gonna scoop these up now so we don't have to come back with the crocodile. This is the other use for gold feathers in this stage. I'm almost out, but I don't really need them again until Gobi's Valley, so it's fine. I can easily get through all of Freeze Easy Peak without them because they don't help for much. I think... God, are there monsters I have to kill with them? No.
No, you were saying there was a jump, though, that you had to...
Oh, it's in Click Clockwood and in... Oh, there are falls in Freeze Easy Peak they help with, but you don't really... The problem is that, like, in Click Clock Wood, you will deliberately gold feather up and jump off. And in Freeze Easy Peak, you'll just fall to your death, so... Oh. Landed wrong. Oh, stream over, I failed! So, I swear to God, the guy actually likes this. It doesn't sound like it, but... Yeah, his dialogue is all, ooh, nice massage, as I slam a head first into his feet. Sounds like my son. In the growly, shrieky toddler phase. It's the best. Oh, I'm totally gonna need your help for this part, because it's the memory match deal. And did I get the stupid... No, I didn't get the crocodile over here yet. I'm gonna do that quick. And we're just gonna damage boost to get the Jinjo over here, because I got plenty of health. And there's health, like, everywhere. So this is... When you first play this game and you're not very good at it yet, health management is a big deal. Health does not despawn, right? If you kill an enemy, the health doesn't, like, flash and disappear after a couple seconds, it's there forever. So what you want to do as much as possible is not take health till you need it.
Kill enemies and not take health.
Yeah. And that way, if you get your ass kicked, you can come back and collect all the health you've been leaving lying around. And if you just do your video game instinct thing and collect everything that drops, you'll be like, oh crap, I'm out of health, you know. Okay, this actually isn't all that hard, but I'm just not a very good, like, I'm not very good at these memory match games, so. This guy's playing a beautiful concerto. Purple, red, blue. Okay. Next song. Blue, yellow, aqua, red, aqua. Blue, yellow,
Red.
Isn't it aqua, red, aqua?
Red.
I think it's aqua, red, aqua.
Maybe I should be helping.
Okay, here's the hard one. Yellow, pink, aqua, blue, aqua, pink, aqua. So yellow, pink, aqua, blue, aqua, pink, aqua. Okay. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. It's fantastic. You can cut my hair, dress me anywhere. Aqua was the band that did that. That's why I was singing it. Okay. It's not just me singing terrible pop music. It's a reference to a thing. That's one of the better hidden honeycombs in the whole game because the camera doesn't show it unless you actually get up on his stupid pedestal. Yeah. Those are really, really well hidden and they make the game a ton easier, so... But I guess that's a good thing, right? Like, that means they're properly rewarding you for all the exploration you're doing. Okay, ah, crap! I slid right in. So, you know, speedrun's not off to a great start, but I feel confident. I think we can close in on Stiv. He's got the game almost to sub 2 hour. Is that everything? I have to double check, because if I turn into the fucking crocodile and I have to turn back into Banjo and Kazooie, I lose a shit ton of time. And like I said, the speedrun's already off to a rough start. Oh, I did miss something. I'm glad I checked. Okay. I can't do this as the crocodile either. I really want to do the crocodile last, because you have to go through this really long maze in waders, so you can't run very fast in order to transform to or from the crocodile.
Little band-aids.
frustrating where to hit. What's cool about this one is that you can kind of use a different move in your repertoire to hit enemies, like different jumps to get to the top of them, and whatever, but... How many gold feathers do I have left? 1! Alright, I'm gonna come back as the crocodile then. I was thinking about maybe health boosting through it for those 5 notes back there, but this isn't that far out of the way. Little Croco moves pretty fast. Alright, and we're almost done with Bubblegroup Swamp, man. I am tearing through this. We can also pick up a couple of gold feathers opportunistically while we're cleaning up at the end of the stage in the crocodile form here. Alright, last little phase of the level here. They heal you up at the start, but we don't need it, I don't think. I want to kill this guy, because he can get me while I'm defenseless later as the crocodile. So, here's the waiter maze. It's a pain in the ass. You have just enough time to nab all of these notes while you're moving. So if you miss one, you can like real quick circle around and grab one, but any longer than that, you're going to take some damage. And if you are constantly fumbling and not grabbing the notes on time, then you're never going to, you're going to get chewed up.
It's funny because I saw the maze from Ukulele first. I don't think I've ever seen this one.
Yeah.
And this one seems a lot less frustrating.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is a little detour off the side of the maze. This could give me some trouble. I'm not a huge fan of this one. We're gonna see if I can do this okay. So you actually want to Talon Trot because it gives you better grip and make kind of a straight shot across here. But you only have 10 seconds. Pro tip, in basically any 3D platformer, jumping and landing on a narrow beam is almost always easier than walking a straight line. Because they're jumping games, and old analog sticks are not the greatest. The N64 had a pretty quality one, it's just... I'm not using a real N64 controller, don't tell anybody. Another pro tip that I don't think the game ever tells you is that you can hit B to cancel the waiters or the speed shoes. If you're just... Yeah, you don't have to wait for the timer to run out, because you move really shitty and slow in the waiters compared to your Talon Trot. Okay, that should be all the enemies out of our way, and I think we did this right, so I think we can clear the level up, go get our upgrade in the secret area. We have to do this because... You always want to check the top of Mumbo's place, but especially here because there's a little honeycomb in here. Yes, Mumbo threatens to turn you into a pair of boots. I should at least let him talk, he's pretty funny. Consistently. So there's a little hole you can slide through so you don't have to go back through the stupid thing. I got all the notes over there so I don't have to do a stupid run over there as the crocodile. I also don't like the music in this level very much. Again, not awful, not ear bleeding or bad even, just kinda,
Not as good as everywhere.
Yeah, it's got an excellent soundtrack overall, so if I had to like list them all, this would kind of be at the bottom just for being kind of meh, but it's catchy, it gets stuck in your head, so does everything in the game. But, my god, nothing sticks in your head like Click Clock would. I think it's because the level played optimally is still an hour and a half long, or close to it, like an hour. Yeah, the task for Banjo-Kazooie, like the tool-assisted speedrun, for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's like it's a really, they use computers and emulators to try and play the game as optimally as possible. They put specific inputs in on a specific frame and have a computer play it. And it's like a tool, right? It helps them learn for the speedrun, and they're also really fucking cool to watch. There is a task for this game by Hyper Resonance on YouTube that is super amazing, and I suggest you check it out. It doesn't take long to sit through. But the Click Clock Wood is still an hour long in the task, and they do tons of stuff to like clip through walls and everything, so... Click Clock Wood, sort of naked, ordinary run of that level can take a couple hours, and that's if you don't die. If you die in like 1 hour and 45 minutes in, you throw your controller through the fucking window. The closed window. That I'm really dreading doing on stream, actually. I've done perfect runs of Click Clock Wood before, but I dread even bringing that up. I should have just said I suck at it. Click Clock Wood is really hard. Great level, though. Holy shit. Mind-blowing at the time, still fun. We're at 9 Gs, which is where we're gonna stay, because we're totally not fighting Mr. Vile. Speaking of, I totally missed the shit in his room, so we're gonna go say hi, and not fight him, or, you don't really fight him, you race him, you try to eat. You face off against him in an eating contest. Can I just have one Yumbly eating contest? Yeah, so we gotta go. He's in the big crocodile head here, which looked really good for the time. Looks kind of stupid now.
Yeah, it's like a bush with teeth.
Yeah. It was legit super impressive graphics for its day. Banjo-Kazooie was one of the best looking games out there at the time, which is, I think, partially because of the cartoony, stylized nature of it, you know? Spyro the Dragon was similarly also awesome looking for similar reasons. I think Spyro the Dragon came out the same year, or a few months after, or something like that.
I don't know, some of the Spyro characters have, like, hideous faces.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true, like Hunter, with his fucking nightmare mouth. Or even, like, Elora, who is generally a pretty good, like, character model. When she opens her mouth, it's like, Okay. Let's do this. Well, that's why the Reignited trilogy is so exciting. There's a series that really deserves to be reimagined with more than 10 polygons per character. Or 40, or... I didn't do any modeling, I don't know. So here we go, we gotta take the crocodile back to the little opening, and then we get the coolest secret. And I'll actually let the text play out for this one. Maybe I should just be doing that in general. I don't know. Voice acting. Should I read these? Right, but people like put the stream on while they're doing stuff in the background. Right. Surely our faithful viewer minions. Surely our faithful viewer minions are giving us their undivided, rapt attention, laughing at every joke, nodding along sagely to all of my game design sort of observations, fist pumping with excitement every time I pull off some amazing stunt, chewing on their fingernails down to like the bloody stump as I precariously something, yawning and rolling their eyes as I list stuff for like minute after minute.
Yelling at their screen as we beat a dead horse.
Take that, you fucking dead horse! Alright, so for those of you who weren't able to read because you were never taught as children, we are going to... We're all the way back to Treasure Trove Cove because we need to put in a cheat code. We found Cheeto the spellbook, which is Gruntilda's spellbook, and he gave us one of her spells. And this is actually really cool. So this guy gets a free hit on us while we're transforming, because he's an asshole. Oh, he didn't get it! He will all the time, though. So this is actually really cool. There was that puzzle in Treasure Trove Cove where we had to type our name in, and you actually can go back in there and type in cheat codes. Yeah. there is a... Or there are, like, the cheat codes, the air quotes cheat codes that you learn in the game, which are actually just, like... We're essentially just getting more inventory space here, right? This is going to double the number of eggs we can carry. There's 2 more, one for red feathers and one for gold feathers. But there are actual cheat codes in the game that will do stuff like unlock things that you haven't earned, right? And you can actually use them by typing them in here. But they're not, like, listed in the game anywhere, obviously. They're developer cheat codes, you know, used for testing purposes. And if you use more than 3 or 4 of them, I forget which, Gruntilda erases your save file. She warns you first before you put the code in, so it's not, like, a surprise. But it was sort of their way to limit, you know, how much of that you could do. But it's nice to give you a couple, so you can still sort of stick around and have fun. And, you know, it wasn't like nowadays people will shut your achievements off or whatever. They can really do that back then. So my only complaint about this, it's very cool that you go type your, you know, spells into this thing to learn new things, whatever. But it's a pain in the ass, especially when you're getting, like, gold feathers and you have to go all the way back to the first couple of rooms of the castle, poop eggs into Leaky, drain the thing, kill this guy, type your code in laboriously over a minute, you know.
Hope that your toddler isn't pushing buttons and
yeah.
misspell blue feathers. Or,
eggs.
Feathers or blue eggs or whatever.
And there's a couple of double letters in a row here, so it's easy to, you know, the E at the end of blue and the E at the start of eggs. But these upgrades are super helpful. You burn through a crap ton of inventory, and if you're getting the upgrades as you go, they'll refill you and they'll boost your stock, and so that's really... You can get through most of the game without ever having to, like, farm for feathers if you're, you know, doing it right. Pickups are also plentiful enough that if you decided to farm, it'd be like, I'm gonna go out of my way for a couple of red feathers here, right? Speaking of which, we're going to Freeze Easy Peak, which is gonna use pretty much every feather in our inventory a couple times over, so... There's an orchestral arrangement of the music for Freeze Easy Peak, and it's great, like, Christmas music. If you put it in a Christmas playlist, nobody will guess that it's from a video game. Because there's jingle bells in it and stuff. So we're crushing these note doors. We're making excellent time, so I think I'm going to clean up I think I am going to clean up a couple of things in the castle while we're at it. And the first thing I'm going to do is show off this amazing deal. First, we got a couple of buttons to hit, so I gotta hit this button, which turns on a platform that lets us high jump. And it spins round and round the room. So you are supposed to, later in the game, in Gobi's Valley, hit a witch switch that will pop this sarcophagus open and reveal a Jiggy inside. But since I am a time and space-defying wizard, I would much rather... You gotta land... This jump's a little tricky because you gotta land on the nose of the coffin, which it doesn't really want you to do. It's round, you know. So, of course... Yeah, well... Okay, here we go. I got it. You can just clip right through it if you roll. It extends your hitbox, and you can get the Jiggy without having to hit the switch. It's kind of nice because the switch is in an annoying place to get in, like, a maze. I'm gonna hit it anyway, just because I want to do things legit. Those boots will get us up to Gobi's Valley over here, but we have not yet unlocked Gobi's Valley, so it's just a blank door. Oh, and I don't want to miss this. Oh, and remember earlier I was saying that other witch switch is something you'd naturally think to just do. It's because you jump up into this vase, and then you fall through the ceiling, and yeah. And then back up into the deck. desert room. Gruntilda's castle is cool because it's actually not as complicated as it looks. Once you... like, it's actually a fairly linear course through the thing, and once you figure out what rooms are what, there's plenty of visual distinction between them, so you can easily tell where you are. And there's really only a couple of doors out of each room that lead to pretty limited locations, right? Plus, there's these cauldrons here. I'm about to complete my first shortcut. So now, that is the linked cauldron in the basement of the castle, which I've already hit because it's up near the portraits for Clanker's Cavern and Treasure Trove Cove. So if we jump in, we teleport over here, and as you can see, now we're up here. So those linked teleporters, when I first started discovering them, I was like, oh god, I'm gonna have to like scratch paper telling me which one goes to which one. They're color-coded, which is nice. The other deal is there's only like 4 pairs of them. And what's really, really interesting is that most of them meet up in this room. This sort of spiderweb foresty room is the nexus of the castle, and it links every other section. So there's that one up, that one down there. This leads us to the one path that leads to kind of the one end of the castle. So that gets us to Mad Monster Mansion, the portrait for Gobi's Valley, and another one of our magic spells. Through there is Freeze Easy Peak, where we're going next. Up here is a note door we can't unlock yet. That leads to the last 2 levels in the game. Up here is a teleporter. That leads us to a later section of the game, but we don't have the other half of it, obviously, right? But what's cool is we can go into the teleporter from the later section, go in there, jump down there, and then get all the way back to the beginning of the castle. So, there's a Bryntilda up here, and stuff. Alright. So that one door I could open downstairs, we're going to take care of a couple things in. Then the other 2 teleporter pairs, one is from like the room in Click Clock Wood to right next to the portrait for Click Clock Wood. We're gonna use that one once. And then there's one for... oh, whoops, wrong direction. There's one that just gets you... It basically just gets you through the endgame stuff without having to walk across the whole board game, so... that one doesn't really count, because you're not going to use it for much besides the final boss. Alright, so here we are. This place is super dangerous, and actually, the first time I tried to replay this as an adult, I rage quit in this room and didn't touch the game for a year. It seems kind of silly now, because it's not actually that hard, but... to me at the time, it definitely seemed that way. Here's the portrait for Gobi's Valley. Oh, hey, what's up? Ahoy, ye mateys! Arr.
Oh my god.
Scalawag!
Our son watches super simple songs on YouTube, and they just, obviously, they went through their Halloween videos, and there's this one, super cute, but also super annoying, where there's a pirate, and it cuts away, and it's like this grown-ass man trying to sound like a pirate, only he's woefully underskilled for the task, and he's like, ahoy, mateys!
Ahoy, mateys!
Shiver me timbers! Arr! It's so bad. And we laugh at it every time.
It's hilarious. So this is the thing we're going to have to come back to later in yet another animal form. We had to bust down a gate that is probably the most bullshit gate to bust down in the whole game, because, I mean, you just wouldn't think to do it. Then, and it's unfortunate because, like, the last third of the game is locked behind it. This is the entrance to Mad Monster Mansion, but the portrait for it is locked behind that 450-note door from earlier, so we can't get in right now. So I believe that's pretty much everything we can accomplish until we get done with Freeze Easy Peak and get the Beak Bomb, and then Gobi's Valley and get the Sprint Shoes, and then we'll have all the moves in the game, so... Oh no. Oop. There's also a super pain-in-the-ass narrow walkway that goes further on, but we don't have to do that till damn near the end of the game, so... Freeze Easy Peak! Best ice level in anything, perhaps. Mostly because you keep your traction while you're talon trotting, so you don't slide around. If you're Banjo...
Lame. Oh, that's awful.
Uncontrollable. And that's sort of the other thing that made me rage quit earlier. The first time I tried to replay this as an adult because I didn't realize you just talon trot everywhere. I wasn't good enough. But then I got good. Scrub. Yeah. So these are Boggy's poor children who have no presents, and also their dad is missing. But mostly, they don't have any presents on Christmas. He's been gone ages because this game was made in Britain. It was. Rare is an English developer. Or was. I don't know if any of the original team remain at all. I think they all left to go make ukulele. So here's their dad. He collapsed feet from their house because he ate a gigantic puzzle piece. Kids, I'm sorry. Whether your dad comes back or not, you're fucking screwed.
It's probably better off for everybody if he
Well, that's okay, because Dr. Banjo is about to perform a sled-assisted puzzle piece-ectomy on him at extremely high velocity. So, these are the Twinklies. We gotta beak, bash, or whatever, the box open. And then these guys, Boggy went out to buy a pack of cigarettes. Yes. And some pornographic magazines. I don't see a Mrs. Boggy in the equation, so he's pretty lonely. So these Twinklies, we need to save them from these guys who eat them. And I could sit there and beak barge into them over and over again. But the N64 kind of has to load stuff in when it's on screen. So if I just sit here and wait, these guys will load out of the box, but the Twinkly Munchers won't at all, and they will just keep going until they reach the tree. It's boring. Okay, we'll do it for real. It just cracks me up because you can totally stand on that box and win the whole thing as long as these guys aren't on camera. That sort of trick generally works with any N64 game. Pretty much how the system worked. There we go. So something that happens starting in Freeze Easy Peak is the jiggies get really circuitous. You start out early on and it's like, oh, you pushed a button, have a jiggy, you know. You did anything at all, have a jiggy. And now in this one it's like, okay, so you save the Twinklies. They spawn a jigsaw, or they spawn a button, which you have to push. Which puts a star on top of the tree, which you need to fly through 3 times on a timer.
Oh god.
And that unlocks the jiggy on the inside of the tree, which you need to climb to get to the tree, or to get the jiggy, right? So, it's really not, like, hard, I guess, but it is really, they make you work your ass off for jiggies from this point onward, and it only gets worse.
Well, like, I would understand maybe flying through the star once, but 3 times? Did they ever tell you, or...
No.
Do you just have to figure that out, like, oh, that didn't work?
They say be a star and you'll get rewarded or something like that. So you just have to do this, and then it's like chime, and you're like, what the fuck? Why didn't anything happen?
My fucking jiggy.
Yeah. And then I'm holding down R, so I can corner really easily while I'm flying. This is a huge pain in the ass if you're doing it, you know, if you don't know about the flight controls. Also, then it just cuts to that. And you're like, what?
Where the fuck is that?
Yeah. So this is really the first part of the game where if you're just casually playing it, you don't know what's going on, you're like, what the fuck? But it's, I guess you could say it is also the part of the game where it becomes like a journey, right? Not just a checklist of stuff for you to do. There's a lot to it. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Also, this game was really good about autosaves in terms of, like, if you do a thing, it doesn't necessarily go away because you die or leave the level. It was really bad about that specifically for for notes, right? But almost everything else that you accomplish is saved permanently. And there was not enough RAM, or not enough, I don't know if it was specifically RAM, but there was not enough memory in an N64 cartridge for them to track all 900 notes individually. Which is why, if you leave the level or die, they all go back to where they originally were, and it just keeps a high score, right? They air quotes fixed this in Banjo-Tooie by putting note nests instead, which were worth 5, and then one treble clef that was worth 15 in each level. But that also means that you can't, like, they couldn't use notes to draw past the level, or draw your attention to stuff, or it, I think, caused significantly more problems than it solved, but it was a trade-off they decided was worth it, and I don't know, it's not all bad. It does allow them to, like, if you find it, you just get to keep it, so that's nice. Okay, we're going to go learn the Beak Bomb, and then I'm going to go do... This part's really hard. I'm not stellar at the Beak Bomb, so if what has been going on the rest of the night holds, then I'm going to do this in one try and make it look really easy, but it's very possible this actually kills me, so what we gotta do is kill all these snowmans, and the way we gotta do it is we gotta fly into them at high speed with the Beak Bomb, and this is impossible to aim. Yeah, and if you miss and you run into something, you take damage. And if that something is freezing water, sometimes you take, like, a bunch of damage. Also, these guys are snipers, and they'll totally hit you from... Like, if you hear them throw the snowball and you don't hit anything, like you don't move or fly up or whatever, they'll hit you 100% of the time. There's also a slight... Oh, hey, no damage. That's fun. And there's another flight platform right here, so I lucked out there. This was one of those things where, like, the first time I was replaying through the game, I had to stop and practice for weeks because I had to get good enough at Beak Bombs to hit these guys. And, you know, it's a clunky mechanic, it's very hard to aim. It feels cool now that I know how to do it, but, you know, this, even with me screwing up and stuff, this is way smoother than it normally is. These guys are a huge pain in the ass. They make you do it a couple more times over the course of the game, which is good. It's not just, you know, wasted time, but... You gotta specifically hit the X's on these guys' hats, too. If you plow into the snowman, you bounce off. Yeah. And this is the thing that took me the longest to learn, there's a slight drop-off when you use the Beak Bomb. If you don't hit the ground, like if you slam into a wall but you're high up enough, you'll be able to, like, resume flying, but that hasn't happened yet. Okay, how much damage have I taken? Yeah, we'll heal up real quick, just because this can go real bad real fast. And I'm about to do, like, some really dangerous shit right after while I'm still flying, so... Because we're gonna be efficient today. So the pornography that Boggy is going out for, right? Do you think it's called Big Bear Asses?
Oh god. Why? Are we talking bears and bears, or like big hairy gay man bears?
Why not both? Really?
I do?
No, there's no, like I said, there's no Mrs. Boggy in the equation, so for all I know, those kids were adopted, right? Like...
Bare-chested ladies.
Bare-chested ladies. I like it. Didn't they do that song, you know? Well, it's been 1 week since you looked at me. Oh, I need to lose some altitude. Boy, ask me how long it took me to figure out that these were targets you had to hit, and not just buttons on the snowman. Okay, so he shits out the jigsaw there, which is actually a frighteningly common occurrence in this game. I know the eagle in Click Clockwood also poops out a jigsaw piece for you. think it happens a couple more times. If you are super awesome, you can beak bomb this ice cube up here, but I will be playing it the really safe pussy way and just shooting him with eggs because I died up here so many times. It is a nightmare. Oh, this is bad. That's a bad place for him to spawn. Fortunately, I handled it okay, but because it's slippery up here, you gotta get all these notes on the rim of the hat, and if you fall, you are just dead, right? If you're very, very lucky, you hit the brim, but I've never had that happen. Every time I fall from up here, it's death. You could survive if you had gold feathers out, but you can't do that while you're falling. You have to have done it first. Okay, got all the notes. Now for a strategic hop down. That's okay, I only took 1 damage from that. Okay. Woo.
Yay, a present.
There's a present. We got, I think, 2 of them now. And we got it. Raise your hands, what do you hold? The snowman's corncob pie. No? Is that not gonna be a thing? Okay.
Hang your head in shame.
Alright. If we screw this up, it's okay, because I gotta climb back up here anyway. But I'm not doing on gold feathers. Yeah, might as well top them off. These ones aren't as hard to collect as they look. See that? I keep tempting fate and no comeuppance. Because it's never gonna happen, do you hear me? No comeuppance! Ever! I'm invincible. Zeus himself could not sink this run. And there we go. Medical procedure complete. You found my sled! And then he's not like, oh man, how long have I been out here? I need to go get to my kids. He's like, sweet! I'm off to the racetrack. If I win big, I'll bring you kids home a new mommy.
I gotta bet all this Christmas money on myself.
I think Kazooie would really like that, actually. If she was specifically crushing these children's Christmas dreams while she was beating Boggy in a race.
Right.
Because, I mean, she does all the fucking running. And then, yeah, we're gonna clean up around here. All of the snowmen I killed dropped stuff. They had loot drops. So I gotta see if they drop enough snowman carrots and coal buttons for the quest giver. Because I really need those that boot upgrade and the tokens for the... I'm saving it for the frost set.
You need to grind Bobby for a while to get 20 bear asses to turn in.
Right.
that longsword upgrade I really need.
I desperately need it. It's got better DPS, it's got the higher agility for the armor. Okay, that's all the presents, but they're right next to the level exit, so those kids are gonna have to wait a little longer. Oh, it took damage. What is this? It's actually amazing to me because less than a year ago, when I was running this level, it would kill me like half the time, right? I was a train wreck at it, and now I can do it almost without getting hit, which is nice. It depends on how good the beak bombs go, really. This is another one with an animal form in it that we kind of want to do last, but it's not as vital because we don't have a bunch of crazy crap to do in the castle with it afterwards, so... Yeah. Oh, Boggy, go away. I have to come back as the walrus first. You turn into a little baby walrus. Then I can race him. And then I can come back later when I have the sprint shoes and race him as Banjo and Kazooie. But oh yeah, I missed this earlier. Because I was fixated on fighting snowmen. these. Oh god, I was not talent trotting for a second. Cleaning up the snowman. And we are fucking blazing through this. I might be able to do Gobi's Valley too. Right, nothing really. There's an extra life up here, but extra lives are so useless in this game. Can I go in and get the Jinjo now? No, he's blocking the way. Okay. Because there's a Jinjo in there I gotta come back and get as Banjo and Kazooie. Because the little seal can't make the jump. And it'd be nice to take care of it now while I'm here. Save me a trip back later. Since I'm trying to be all quick and efficient here. Fuck it. What? Oh, because of swim. I'm swimming, so I can't. Son of a bitch. Yeah, that's okay, I can fly it. There's a flight pad right over here. Pretty much for this reason. Oh, come on, man. Okay. You know what? I think I can... Nope. Well... There we go.
That time it worked.
Yeah. That'll waste time to fly over there. I'll be there right now. I didn't take any damage from that. I'm very surprised. Oh, right. As always, we got to check out... Yeah, he's got notes, he's got a Jinjo. Fighting for the cops in his attic. Alright. And now we turn into the mightiest form of all. The little baby scene. No. Here's that gold feather I wanted to pick up earlier. Make up for the one I wasted. Which is good, because I'm going to need them for Gobi's Valley. Like a couple times over. There's lots of uses for them in Gobi's Valley. Let's see. Notes. Fortunately, there isn't like a crap ton to do as the baby seal. Although my note count right now is sort of worrying me. I'm trying to think what I'm missing, but that's okay, it'll come to me. After I do the race in Waz's cave. So here we go, first race with Boggy. Wish me luck. Yeah, let's go. So Boggy rubber bands really hard, which is a good and a bad thing, because if you screw up and you get behind him a little bit, you can usually catch up. The biggest difficulty is that there are sections of the track here where you can just fall off and the race is over. So like if you slide down the side of this cliff or whatever, and he likes to like get pushy, you know? But specifically, there's a spot coming up here where you go down a hill onto some bridges, and you can, like, the camera switches up on you, and it's so easy to screw it up into the water. And it's not such a big deal as the seal, but if you're Kazooie, you fucking lose on the spot, and it's so annoying. That was it right there. Oh! Okay, I can make this work. We're near the end of the course, but there is, fortunately, a little bit of a trick at the very end of the race that helps you make up a lot of ground. Which is that if you're going up a slope and you spam the jump button, you gain a crap ton of speed. So, the very end of the race, very fortunately, makes it pretty easy if you're even close. And the level design in this game, I haven't been talking about a ton, which is unfortunate because it's so great. And that is because it almost begs you to route it yourself, right? You finish the race up here, and you're right next to Waza, and, like, there's just so many little things like that, where it's easy to, like, okay, if I do this challenge first, then this one, that'll put me there, and that'll, right, and it gets you thinking about it with stuff like those crocodiles in, the swamp level in Bubble Boop Swamp. And so it just naturally sort of guides you toward doing that stuff. There's a Jinjo up there we can't reach till we come back as Banjo and Kazooie. We need the Jiggy we just got first, or Waza won't let us in. And then there's this thing back here. The speedrun of this game does this as Banjo and Kazooie and just damage boosts through the icy water. Gets out with exactly 1 hit point left, and then gets hit by this ice block back here the second they pick up the gold thing, so that they can warp to the beginning of the level, because they've collected everything in the level at this point. That's how good their routing is, right? It is faster to die, but only if you have all 100 notes. Man, I don't do that shit.
You don't have time to practice 16 hours a day to get good at doing that.
Well, and it's a crowded field, man. People love this game, as they should. It's great. Okay, now I'm really wondering where I missed all those notes. That's kind of everything I have to do is the walrus, so I should probably just go over to Mumbo, because it'll be easier to search. Fortunately, it's a small level and we can fly, so... Oh, I know where they are. Okay. Silly me. I even mentioned it earlier and everything. They're up on the scarf on the snowman. I gotta climb back up there. And that's actually, it's fine, because it'll get us all our red feathers back, too. Yeah. I'll do another minor headphone warning for that, because the flute sound effect for the feather goes off about every microsecond for a couple minutes. It's really painful if you've got the volume up. I do like the sound design. I think the sound effects are great. They're just sometimes shrill and weren't meant to go off over and over and over again. Alright, and fortunately, we are right next to the snowman too, so that worked out excellent. Gotta avoid this guy. Up the scraff. That is Freeze Easy Peak all done. Holy crap. Ah! I guess you're not supposed to do that on foot. Doesn't matter if I die. Oh, we have one more Jiggy to do, too. But that one's right on the way out here, so it's easy. Alright, you know what? We got a half hour left. I'm gonna try to rush Gobi's Valley, I think. I'm right there. Oh, what? Oh no! I haven't done the Jinjos yet. Okay, that's really fast.
I have one more to get, and then don't you also have to do the race with
Yeah, but I have to do it with the sprint shoes. So I gotta come back with the, I gotta come back after we do Gobi's Valley. Which actually, I don't know, maybe... Depends on how long it takes me to get to Waza's and back here, I think, because it's not far, but... I feel like, it might be easier to... Like, I'm gonna have to do some cleanup after Gobi's Valley, right? It'll be easier to remember to do right after the level when I get the sprint shoes, but, I don't know. The night is young and so am I.
Love that Yeah.
Not anymore, but I'm still pretty spry. I can surprise you. Ow, I ran into the fire. My decrepit old bones. So yeah, I'm gonna run over to Gobi's Valley real quick then. So, what happened to Game of Thrones, can I ask? That used to be like the best show on television and it infuriates me now.
Well, yeah, and I don't hear any, like, hype about it anymore.
Well, it's on hiatus this year.
Yeah, true,
So,
but it's still, like, normally I would hear news like, oh, they're filming in X and X location, that means blah blah blah, and Kit Harington is in New Zealand this week.
Yeah, you know, that's true,
But now
right?
it's like, who's what now? Who cares?
Well, so they've kind of repeatedly blown their load on this stuff to the point that, like, nobody actually expects that any dead character will necessarily stay dead anymore.
Right, yeah. This is true, because,
But it used to be the kind of show that, like, everything was really well thought out, and it's just not anymore. I got the Gobi Valley picture already, right? Yeah. So, it's just, as that, but, like, I think the very clearest example to me is that in season 1 or 2, they make me really hate Theon Greyjoy, right? And I was like, oh, Theon, he's such an asshole, God, nothing is too, you know, whatever happens to him is too good for him, I hope he dies horribly. And then they made me spend the next, like, season peeking at the screen through my fingers, being like, oh god, I didn't actually mean that! Fuck, oh, I feel so bad for him, right, like... And then, so that was the big contrast there, was like, the show made me bloodthirsty, but then it also made me feel really bad for it, and that I really liked that. No other show had done that to me, besides maybe, like, I can't think of anything, like, no other show has really done that. Oh, The Wire. I guess The Wire did that, but that's some good, like, that's good company to be in, that's high praise, right? But then, like, by the time you get to Ramsay Bolton, huge spoilers for a season ago or something? I quit watching, I don't know. But then you get to Ramsay Bolton, king of motherfuckers, there's this whole, like, yeah, Sansa has him devoured by his own dogs as she looks on coldly and unemotionally like a badass, and a ninja does a sweet rock solo in the background, and, right, it's just very, like, it no longer is the kind of thing that wants you to build up a villain and then feel sorry for them when they get their comeuppance, or make you feel like, you know, there were consequences to their death or whatever. It's mostly just like, yeah, what a fucking asshole, but he's dead now, because we killed him with violence. Oh, just... It's a show that doesn't really know what it's about anymore, and they overran the source material, I guess, which is... Right. Shows never improve when the source material gets overrun.
Even the original Full Metal Alchemist, when it outran the manga.
Yeah.
It went to some weird places.
I didn't mind so much, but it certainly did. I mean, I didn't mind so much until I saw Brotherhood, and then I was like, oh wow. They actually wanted those things to go to a place that made sense, okay. Oh. So this is Gobi's Valley. It's the hard level of the mid-game, and it legit used to kill me a whole crap ton. Anymore, I get through it pretty consistently without dying. But, so... Freeze Easy Peak started doing a thing, where the honeycombs that refill your health were guarded by ice cube guys, and that was the start of a thing, right? From now on, health isn't free anymore. You gotta kill an enemy, or the honeycombs are guarded by bees. They're guarded by ice cubes in Freeze Easy Peak because having bees in an Arctic environment would be ridiculous. And they cared. This is back when they cared. This is also the level where if you don't know how to aim your eggs yet, you learn how to do it. Or, you know, don't finish the level. Yeah. which is actually, they're kind of a pain in the ass to aim, so it's, you know, it's definitely gear check. So slow. Oh, goddamn. Of course. Punished immediately.
It's a good thing pride doesn't go with before anything.
Yeah, I'd be in some huge trouble. Alright, fortunately there's some health right here, so I can make up for my silly mistakes right off the bat. Oh, I lied earlier. This is by far my least favorite soundtrack. I don't like the digital sitar or whatever that's supposed to be. It sounds awful. I know it's supposed to sound exotic or whatever, but really it sounds like somebody hitting a baby with a cat. Okay, bunch to knock off over by the Sphinx here, so we're gonna take care of that real quick. Yeah, I guess the other thing with Game of Thrones is that a bunch of stuff happened that was just like... people have been joking for a little while about Littlefinger's jetpack, which is presumably how he gets from one end of Westeros.
From one end of the world to the other.
And it used to be a show that was very, like, geekily obsessed with how everybody was getting everywhere and at what time frame, and it's fine. Like, a lot of shows don't even bother with that at all and are still great. There was a joke early on in Avatar: The Last Airbender's development where they were at like a panel or something, and somebody asked them like, so exactly how fast does Appa move? And they were like, at the speed of plot. And that's totally fine. Like, I don't think you have to be the kind of show that obsesses over that, but if you are, and then you're not anymore.
Well, right, and like, given that it's based on a book where they actually do go into that kind of detail as far as travel, and then to have, you know, the TV show that originally was very close to the book, maybe more in the spirit rather than, you know, to the word, but...
Yeah. I don't know what just happened there. I flew through the ring, I think I skimmed the top of it and landed, and then it didn't count as flying through the ring, and it dropped me into the sand, so we're gonna pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, and specifically, like, the selling point of that show to me was always, like, I like fantasy, but that was like a sort of nod and wink at a bunch of stupid fantasy tropes. They had, or they have Tyrion in there as a dwarf, like with achondroplasia, to sort of draw attention to the way that, like, D&D uses dwarf as like
halflings and dwarves. They're
mystical
so funny.
fantasy races, but...
They're all thieves.
Got big noses and love gold.
Hairy feet.
Yeah. Well, it was all very sort of just inexorably tied to the prevailing social theories of the day when Tolkien was writing the... Because he was actually a remarkably progressive dude for his time, but there's just certain inescapable things about the way your culture at the time you live use stuff that you can't get away from. And sort of just like the idea that people are born into specific groups that have specific physical inborn characteristics that... Right? And it's... What kind of sucks about it is that people did some really cool stuff with it. Like, the whole idea of the fantasy race, especially as re-envisioned in video games and D&D and stuff, has this cool pedigree, and none of it's really based on any actual in-world, like, real-world bigotry as far as I know. Most of it isn't, anyway. I don't think that, like, D&D Minotaurs are secretly based on, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that the concept itself seems more and more archaic every year. Fucking see that? I dropped directly onto the jiggy. That is... Oh. Ladies, try to contain yourselves. Yeah. What else you got? Oh, come on. I mean, ladies...
I did that.
I intentionally weave an imperfection into each level because I believe that perfection is the exclusive province of the Almighty.
In that case, why would you have to intentionally do it?
That's right. How hard can you believe that? If you feel that you have to ensure that it happens. Take that, Persian rug weavers of the 1500s.
You are wrong.
Okay. Hey, speaking of racially insensitive stuff they won't let you do anymore, what's up, Snake Charmy guy?
He's been appropriated anyway. He's too pale.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's anything terribly offensive about him besides the Swami look. Just, you know. Who am I to judge? I will say his super annoying thing where I have to drop eggs into this rotating basket's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
He's taking donations, right? Like, Christ, EA, don't you want me to give you your money or what? Give you my money? I'm getting tongue-tied a lot.
Yeah, we're tired.
We are tired.
We have a toddler. This is our first day without him in a really long time, so...
I get pretty regular babysitting off of people. It's just like I'm sort of up from.
It feels like forever.
I don't sleep very much, you know. This is the last move of the game. It's the sprint shoes, and it lets us pick up. It's a lot like the wading boots. We'll find sprint shoes out in the world. We can pick them up, and then it gives us super fast speed on a timer, and they do a bunch of really interesting shit with it. They don't use them over and over again, but they make like one use of them or two per level from now on. Do some really interesting crap with it. I don't think they appear in Click Clockwood at all. Oh, he has to die. He's annoying. He can cause major problems if I'm coming back here with the sprint shoes or the waiters trying to get something done. So. Right. Well, like, at least I wasn't on a timer there, right? That was the whole point. Except I don't think you can attack it all while you're wearing these, so... Oh, did I spawn the hand? God damn. I might not have spawned the Jiggy I'm going after here. Oh, there it is. Man. I really got that one despite fucking up. Well, that worked out for me. I'm gonna try to get these notes in one run with the waiters, but I might have to burn some gold feathers on it. It's better than running up and down this hill over and over again, so. Or if there's like one left I can damage boost for it, there's plenty of health left in the level. That's not heroes at all. I mean, it's all locked behind horrible danger, but come on. What, am I gonna be at 1 health or something? Yeah, damage boosting for it. Oh, not even. The game's pretty generous with that stuff. You get a couple of frame window to do stuff. Now the next stupid damn thing we gotta do with the sprint shoes. This is really frustrating. You have, like, exactly enough time to do this. And it doesn't help that it pulls the camera back for a full 5 seconds. While the timer is running.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, trying to get... If you're Stivny Bobo, you can totally get the stuff on this while you're doing it, but me, I just gotta move as fast as I can. Whew! Just barely. And then there's a well-hidden Mumbo token over here. These guys, these mummies, I used to think were invulnerable. You can kill them with the Wonder Wing. And right here, it's not unbelievably necessary, but when you're trying to do the match game, it's super helpful. These skeleton versions of them in Mad Monster Mansion work the same way. You can kill them with Wonder Wing, same with the green ghosts there. That's just all kinds of helpful. Ow. Things are bad for you. Yeah, whatever. I don't need that egg. I got my red feathers and my honeycomb, and that's all I need.
Very next room, 147 blue eggs.
Oh no! If only I had one blue egg
One
left.
more.
That's not how we do it. Play the guitar on the MTV. Yeah, now I gotta go back and get the music notes. The other stuff's optional, but I gotta have the notes. How else would I unlock doors in 100% thing? I think you can miss 4 notes in the whole game and still unlock all of the doors in Gruntilda's deal. It's 2 or 4. So, if you're real stuck on Click Clockwood, they're like, close enough. Which I kinda like. It makes 100% just like a bragging rights sort of thing then. Oh, right, it's that. I was looking for... There's a switch that makes a honeycomb appear in that cactus, but... That is Gobi. He's easiest to get to by flying, but I think I'm gonna... Yeah, you can't really hop up there, right? Well, you're taking damage. Or gold feathering. Oh! Crap! Crap! No!
Stupid. It's a killer rug.
Oh man, that didn't go well. I think I should not stand on top of that while it's flashing. It just sucked that it respawned on top of me, so I couldn't jump. But, that was risky too, but paid off. Alright, so this is Gobi, for whom Gobi's Valley is named. And you have to do 3 things with him in the level. And, he will not appear in other places until you, right. You have to do them in order. And one of them is here, and then the next one's at the start of the level. And then the next one is in a place we have to fly to. Uh-oh. No! I'm actually kind of low on health now. That's okay, I know where I can pick some more up. I think this probably used to have a timer on it before a whole bunch of testers committed suicide. And then, yeah.
It doesn't have to be suicide, it could also be murder.
Right. I suppose that's true, you know? Yeah, pro tip there, you can actually move at the very beginning of that cutscene and be sliding down the hill before the door even opens, so that's really easy. This guy is absolutely the one you want to Wonder Wing down immediately, because then he's not up in your grill while you're doing this thing. Now, these are always in the same position, so you can technically memorize where they are, but... Egg, honeycomb, banjo, note. Kazooie. Yeah, holy shit. I crushed that one. That usually takes me forever. I gotta start from the bottom up more often. Well, see, because, like... I guess if you start at the top, you get these 2 right away, but I feel like down here, it gives you, like... It's all different, you know? And then you just kind of remember as you go up.
Yeah, like the bottom half is all of them, and then the top half is...
Yeah, I killed it. That cool. Alright. Hey, free health. What's up? If you would please swoop at me now. Thank you. So here's how you deal with honeybee cones. You hit them with eggs from a distance, and then you tail and trot in, circle, and leave. Alright, I think I took care of all 3 exterior pyramids. Now there's just the big one in the center. Oh, did I get the Jinjo back here? I better double check. Yeah, I don't think I did. Need to double check that, because... And then there's some really annoying notes to collect here. Oh, I did that already. Okay, that's good. And you're on the side. This is another test of our egg shooting acumen. Wait. Oh, you gotta do these in order too. Fun! Did I forget about that? And Dre. That's still cool, right? People are still referencing that? Okay. I wouldn't know. It's not like I'm connected to a network of all of the world's information at all times or anything.
Yeah, but it takes time to look that stuff up.
Especially when you're not already listening to cool popular music. When it's like 2018 and you're like, hey guys, Lana Del Rey is really good. You should check out the album Dark Paradise. Yeah.
We've known for 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, you're into classic rock too. See, this platform is a little... Exit now. Xander likes to mimic the slurpy noise. It's very cute. Really annoying notes. I think I'm gonna skip the eggs up here, even though I kinda need them. But I got the blue eggs upgrades, so I'm not like in dire shape or whatever. But they're kind of a pain in the ass. Okay, then this is King Sandybutt's tomb. It is not hard, but it does a whole lot to make it feel like it's hard. The music gets faster and faster and becomes panic-inducing, but like you'll note that it sounds like I'm about to die when I still have like 30 seconds left, so... these guys are a pain, but you know. Anyway, here's Wonder Woman. Today's gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. Can you run back in, like here's the exit. I'm gonna run back out to hit the witch switch. Which resets the timer, so that's handy. And also, the maze, since you can see it from the top, it's not actually all that hard to navigate. There aren't a lot of, like, loops or anything. It's kind of straightforward. Alright, I got that one already. I clipped into the... I didn't have to do that at all. Oh well. Now I did it legit, so... Yeah, it doesn't sound like, oh god, oh god! 30 seconds left out of 60. Like, not hard. And then there's like fantastic treasure in this room, so it's all worth... We got this Jiggy and this Jiggy.
Apparently a Jinjo.
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's what I meant. Because there wasn't actually a Jiggy. There's Jinjo. And now I'm only missing one Jinjo. Crap, which one? The blue one. Oh no, I know where he is. He's right here. He's right here. And I'm actually glad that I remembered, because otherwise I would have forgotten to do this entire thing. So this has, I believe, 6 faces, maybe 8. 1, 2, 3. It's a really easy swimming section. No danger. Very fast. You can swim right through the Jiggy, but... And I know where the last Jiggy is as well, and the last few notes, so we are just about finished. And like, right on time. Holy crap, man, 4 levels in 2 hours. I guess I should wait till I have these last 5 notes before I tempt God, but...
You may not.
Because, yeah, next we go down to the beginning of the level, because Gobi's back there now. And this is really gross. This tree is thirsty. But Gobi's like, I need all my water. Yeah, well, fuck you, Gobi. Just one of the many times we're gonna break Gobi's back for a cheap reward. Fuck animals. That's my stance. I want that on record in case I try to, like, run for Congress someday. Hate them.
Hate.
I endorse their torture. Not really, you guys. Come on. Alright, and then we make kind of a tricky jump over to there. That's all our jiggies, so we get the special jiggy dance. Jig. And then there is one more thing to do here. We got two things, because I need to get the two. I'm missing 5 notes and both of the gold honeycomb pieces. But 5 of the notes are with one of the gold honeycomb pieces, so.
Fuck animals, asshole 2024.
Yes! Little damage boost there. This door does not lead anywhere, and was intended to work with the stop and swap system, which I guess I should have explained in Freezeezy Peak, when we passed right by the icy key and I didn't even look up. But there were secrets hidden all over the game that were intended to be accessed by the sequel by keeping the game in memory and removing the cartridge and swapping it, because you had 30 seconds where the RAM was still in. And then Nintendo informed Rare, oh, by the way, we updated the hardware and the new version of this does not... It stays in memory for 2 seconds and it won't work anymore. So they had to scrap it. But if you buy the, they HD re-released both games on the Xbox Marketplace, and since Microsoft owns Rare now, and they put Stop and Swap back in for that version, so... And it also saves your notes if you die, so... If you're gonna play the game, I highly recommend that version. I like this version because I am a really old school gamer, I'm jaded, and I can't get hard unless it's weird. But...
I also want that on there.
Yes. But if you are a normal, sane person who didn't spend their entire childhood mastering these... I wonder if I could... Yes! That was awesome! Oh, and we heal up to full because we got the next honeycomb. We are up to an 8-piece. We have completed the levels. And everything's really turning up Millhouse here, guys. Well, that actually puts us on pace. I think next time I'm gonna try to knock out the rest of the castle plus Mad Monster Mansion, because I got some backtracking to do, right? I'll do that, I'll do Mad Monster Mansion, and I will do Rusty Bucket Bay, hopefully. Fingers crossed, that's a hard one. And then I'm gonna give Click Clockwood its own episode, because it's gonna need it. That episode's like an hour and a half long if you do it right. So, and every time you die, you start her over. I've done it no deaths before, but it's not, like, guaranteed, so... Okay, well, I am gonna call it for right now. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. It was a good time. Having a lot of fun with this one. And I am really looking forward to our next sesh. I might try to do these more often now, so... we will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Fun hanging out, everybody. I'll let the game over thing play because it's funny. I know we were doing it at the beginning of the stream, but we got like 2 minutes left, so... Oh, and next on the docket, after we do this one, I'm going to do Super Mario 64. We're going to 120 star that one. That's going to be a challenge, too. Real fun, though. That's a great game, too. The N64 was a hell of a system in retrospect. Traitor. Benedict Bumbo Arnold Jumbo. Okay. Well, that's that. See you guys later.